What's up and welcome into a fresh Locked On Bulls. I'm Matt, that's Big Dave. Up ahead on today's program, we just learned yesterday, Bulls Media Day will be this coming Monday. That's right, the season officially starts in 6 days. We're going to talk about what we want to see and hear from all of the members of this organization on Media Day on Monday. And then on the back end of the show, we will talk about the most recent breaking news report from Adrian Wojnarowski about one of the league's maligned stars, Ben Simmons, and how there might be a few connections between what he's going through and the Bulls superstar, Zach LaVine. That's all ahead on a fresh Locked On Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up and welcome into Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave at BAW, B-A-W-L Sports. And you can follow us at Locked On Bulls. You can also hit us up on our text and voicemail line, 331-979-1369 for our weekly mailbag content, as well as shooting us an email, lockedonbulls@gmail.com. Big Dave, we know that less than a week from today, we get to hear from Arturas and Mark. We get to hear from Billy Donovan. We get to hear from probably the names on this Bull squad, including some newcomers like Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan. How excited are you? And which person are you most excited to hear from?
I'm so happy. If you know what it feels like, Matt, it feels like relief. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird because you know me, I'm happy all the time. You know this. But this, it's not even happiness or joy or nothing. It's just for real. It's like relief. Like, I am expecting to watch competency even from that aspect. You know what I mean? Of how the media day is run. Like, I don't expect to see guys, without names and numbers on the back of their jersey. And I don't expect to see dudes riding in on a scooter. And, I just don't expect that kind of, lost look and just looking like a team that's, a sideshow. I expect it to be business-like, and I expect it to look right and guys to look good. And man, Matt, the one thing I can't wait to see is just to see DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball in Bulls jerseys, honestly. Like, that would solidify things for me and make it so real that I would
just photoshops
like, wow.
on Twitter.
Correct, right. Because even the Bulls' new header is like photoshops of them in their jerseys, and not even though it's a dope header, it's still photoshops of guys in their Bulls jerseys. We need to see the real thing, and the fact I get to see the real thing, man, it's gonna mean something to me. I can't front. It's gonna mean something to me to see that and to know that, wow, this is legitimate. Like, these guys are actually on our team, and I get to see this all season. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing from a lot of people. But the interesting thing is that when it comes to AK and Billy Donovan, I think both of those guys are very good at being open with the media while also not giving a whole lot away. Because, I think we're going to get questions. Somebody's going to ask Arturas about the ongoing investigation, which, by the way, still ongoing. They're going to ask about,
of course,
how this got leaked as quickly as it did. Maybe they'll ask, did you leak it? And if not, who did? And are you mad at them? And you're probably also going to get questions, lobbed at Billy Donovan about, how do you plan on sorting out your rotation? And I think both guys are going to be very guarded in the answers that they give. And look, I'm okay with that. I'm just very curious to see what kind of questions they get, because a lot went on this summer. Like, a lot went on. So that's what I want to know. The people who are lucky enough to be at Media Day, and, Media Day a year ago was via Zoom. I believe, we haven't heard concretely, but I believe they will at least let some limited amount of media into the Advocate Center for Media Day. They'll probably be distanced, but where's the media going to go asking those two guys, specifically Arturas and Billy Donovan, because they're each man. I could think of a dozen questions to ask each of those guys and still have more questions.
Absolutely right. And I think you're right. Like, as much as we're happy and the joy and, we want to see this team, like you said, those questions about the tampering have to come up and they have to be asked because we need to know, how they feel about it and where this investigation is. Now, I'm sure we'll get surface answers, from AK and Mark Epsley about it. It's ongoing. We don't want to speak about it,
Right.
investigation.
They could
stuff
essentially
like that.
give just no comment. It's still ongoing.
Yeah, they could still give that because Arturas has shown he'll give you, like you said, he'll give you everything and give you nothing.
Right,
what I'm saying? Like, it just feels like that, So I'm expecting a little of that as well. So I think, and then you have so many basketball questions you can ask Billy Donovan because I'm sure people will have questions about scheme and how this will all fit together. How does DeMar DeRozan gonna fit into this? He's playing, at the 3. Like, you guys seem like a transition team. Is that gonna hurt Vooch? You guys don't have a lot of big men. Got a lot of wing depth, but not a lot of big men. How's that going to play out? You don't have a knockdown 3-point shooter. How's Kobe's arm doing? It's so many questions to ask. And I expect real straight up logical answers. And that's what excites me more than anything. I expect some competency. And that's exciting. Like, I was saying this on Locked On Mavs. I was like, bro, if we act like we ain't been there before, it's because we ain't. I was like, I ain't really seen this, what I'm saying? Like this. And that's why I'm so excited about it. Because I'm like, wow, I'm excited to see my team operate like a real legitimate team. Like they are really the Chicago Bulls. You know what I'm saying? And not the mom and pop store. Like, I expect to see the Chicago Bulls be the Chicago Bulls. So that excites me a lot.
Yeah. And when it comes to the players, look, we've already heard from Lonzo and DeMar when they met the media, at least, electronically answered some questions about why they chose Chicago and, how they see themselves fitting into what Billy Donovan and has already with Zach and Vooch and the key players here. So, we might get some sort of repeat answers from those key newcomers like DeMar and Lonzo. So I'm not as excited to hear from them. The person I'm really excited to hear from as far as the guys wearing the jerseys is Zach LaVine, a guy that we're going to talk a little bit about on the back end of this episode as far as him joining the new, megacorp Klutch Sports, what's going on with their other client, Ben Simmons, right now. But we've seen pictures of Zach LaVine smiling, right? We've seen pictures of him smiling with his, gold medal winning USA teammates. We've seen pictures of him smiling when either on his Instagram or Bulls Instagram and Twitter, there are, pictures of these guys working out, these new teammates working out at the Advocate Center in the summer. And it's great. I can't wait to see the smile on Zach's face when he walks in and starts taking questions and hearing from him for the first time, really, about how do you feel about this offseason that your team had and all of these new teammates that you have to play with? Because hopefully his answer is, I'm stoked as hell, and I can't wait to start, winning basketball games with these guys, because that, I think, is the key to all of this. And having a competitive make the playoff season up on deck is convincing Zach that the guys who came in to fix this stuff are actively fixing this stuff and building a winner around him, or at least trying their darndest to.
Yeah, and it feels like everybody is working together towards the goal. And when I say everybody, I don't mean the team. I'm talking about the front office too. Like, it doesn't feel like it's going to be in spite of, or because you're not doing this, forget it, we have to drag a few extra 10 pounds, just to get ourselves to looking like a real basketball team. Everybody seems to be in lockstep with each other as far as what this goal is and what they want it to be. You're right. Like, all those points you made about Zach LaVine, I don't think I've seen him this happy in quite a while. Like, I'm like, wow, this dude is smiling a lot, like a whole lot.
As opposed to just sitting on the bench grimacing at the end of a game where who takes a timeout and he looks pissed as hell.
He's like, why? Right? Why? Like, I don't expect to see that. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing him, cracking jokes on the bench with DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo because the Bulls are up by 20. You know what I'm saying? And it's the fourth quarter. And, like, just cheering team. And it's all the stuff I'm talking about, like, guys who are listening to this show or watching the show who aren't Bulls fans, probably like, what do you mean? That's regular stuff? Not for us. We ain't seen that in a minute. That's not regular stuff for us to see those teams, just be relaxed in the fourth quarter and guys happy and enjoying each other's company and not giving you, just the regular corporate spiel when they're sitting up there talking to you. We're not used to that. Like, we're not used to this overjoyedness. It always felt like a cloud. I don't know about you, man. It always used to feel like a cloud just over us. You know what I'm saying? Like, just sometimes the cloud would part, and everything would be cool. But most of the times that cloud would fall over you and it would be raining and thunderstorming. And we got to carry umbrellas. It doesn't feel like that right now. It just feels really nice and really good that I get to go into a media day and look at this basketball team with legitimate basketball players and a competent and legitimate front office who will answer your questions right on the spot and not give you the runaround about something and be straight up about the good things and the bad things that they've done. You know what I'm saying? About the successes and the mistakes. They'll be forward about all of it. And I'm really, really looking forward to it, man. I really am. I'm just really looking forward to it. I really am.
And obviously, like last year, training camp, it was a weird season. Everything's virtual. The world's hiding from COVID. So the first media day of the new regime kind of just felt like a false start or fake in a way that you couldn't really get excited about it. And I know we're still dealing with COVID protocols. The NBA be dealing with COVID protocols this upcoming season, but there is an added layer of excitement because this feels like the real first media day from the new front office, because after a season of evaluating what they inherited and taking a look around going, oh dear God, this is the first media day after they have shown us, the fans, what they can do in an off season. And they did a hell of a lot in an off season. That's why it's so exciting. All right, we've got lots more to get to, including the Ben Simmons drama. Before that, though, Big Dave, you texted me and said, like, hey, did you see this? Last minute show, impromptu, Metallica plays at the Metro in Wrigleyville last night. I did not go. I was busy doing a million things, and like by the time I saw what was going on, sold out, boom. But I saw a hilarious video from their drummer Lars Ulrich at the end of the concert last night where he said, by the way, Metallica, first time playing the Metro since they played there in 1983.
Wow.
1983.
Wow.
But he said this band has been touring for 40 years.
Yes.
He said last night at the Metro was maybe the hottest concert that they have ever played as far as temperature in the venue. So, Big Dave, what could Lars Ulrich buy, add to his, travel kit to maybe help with those sweltering summer concerts?
That is a great question, man. And we're talking about a band who's the only music act to actually play on all 7 continents. They've been all over. They felt all kinds of weather. Okay. So to say that's the hottest is saying a lot. But you know where he wouldn't have felt that? If he had this product, if he tuned in to Locked On Bulls and heard us preach the gospel of the sweat block. Sweat block! That's all you needed was the sweat block. You would have been bone dry. Why? Let me tell you, because it's doctor created, doctor recommended, works for up to 7 days per use. You get that dry shirt guarantee, which I'm sure you could have used, Lord. You could have used that dry shirt guarantee, my man, because if it don't keep you dry, you get your money back. I know you don't care about that money, but you still want to keep money, don't you? I'm sure you still want to keep money.
You did sue Napster, Dave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the best seller on Amazon the past 10 years. Over 13,000 positive reviews. Currently, it's number 1 on Amazon's anti-perspirant category. You can wear what you want. It's your little secret of confidence. You could have had that, right there before you got up on the drums. You could have dab right there and then went to work and done your thing, man. But it's all good because this is how you can correct that. You can go to sweatblock.com, write him Locked On in that promo code, and you will save 20% because I'm sure you want to save some money. Even though you got it, you'll want to save some. Or you can go to Amazon or CVS and do the same thing, man. Sweat block. Even you, Metallica, can stay dry.
Today's episode is also brought to you by DirecTV Stream. Does this sound familiar, Big Dave? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, bear down. Another that lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching your sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's ex-girlfriend's daughter-in-law's dog to stream the good stuff.
Can't stand that dog.
I want to tell you about a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So you can watch your favorite sports, your favorite movies, your favorite shows, all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes, no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part is there's no annual contract. Those three magic words. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at DirecTV.com. That's DirecTV.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
The dude said they did Napster.
I mean, it is.
Oh my God. That was so funny. Because they did. They truly did. Yes.
I was one of the few people on the planet defending Lars and Metallica when they did it. Because
you are definitely one of the few.
Fast forward 20 years, Taylor Swift and all these other modern musicians that people love are doing the same kind of stuff, being like, hey, people shouldn't just get my music for free. Yeah. And Metallica were the first ones to be like, wait, time out. People shouldn't get our music for free.
Oh, man.
No, let's all make a cartoon making fun of Lars Ulrich because the band is selfish and they've sold out.
When you're the first one to do something, Matt, they coming at you.
Pioneers.
That's the rule. That's the rule.
First band to stand up for themselves as far as making money for their work, and the first band ever to play on the continent of Antarctica. So many firsts for that band. That's why I've always loved them. Plus, amazing music. All right.
Yeah, don't leave that out. Yes.
Don't leave that out. Big Dave. What is going on with Ben Simmons? We've got to talk about this. In case any of you have not seen this latest report yet from Woj, which came out earlier today, in a looming standoff that could have lasting implications for the NBA, Sixers All-Star Ben Simmons will not report for the opening of training camp next week and intends to never play another game for the franchise, sources tell ESPN. Simmons wants a trade out of Philly and told management he has no plans to wear an NBA uniform again until he's moved to a new team. This is setting up a showdown for the Sixers franchise with championship hopes that it will be greatly diminished without Simmons on the floor, balancing the likely short-term losses with him sidelined against the long-term goals of getting a max trade return for Simmons. Simmons explained his stance to ownership and management in a late August meeting, has no direct contact with the organization for weeks. Simmons has 4 years and $147 million left on his max contract, including $33 million for the upcoming season. Clearly, he understands potential financial implications of sitting out. The Sixers could test Simmons' willingness to stay away by fining him considerable salary. And when I say considerable salary, Big Dave, as Woj reports here, it could cost Simmons $227,613 for each missed game if he holds out. We've seen holdouts from athletes, especially like NFL athletes. You always hear about holdouts coming into training camp. Wow. It's not as common in the NBA. This is bigger and worse than the James Harden Houston situation. What do you make of this latest report from Woj?
Well, let me say, I'm not surprised he's holding out. It was reported, I think Stephen A. Smith said this weeks ago, but Woj made it official because, it's Woj. You see Woj, you're like, okay, this is really, truly happening. But I remember him reporting that a few weeks ago, saying that this was going to be the case. He was going to hold out because he never wanted to play for Philly ever again. So I wasn't surprised that it happened. But man, like when it does hit you, even though you know it's coming and you see it's coming, even when it gets there, it's still like, whoa, dude. It's still like, wow, this is going to get worse before it gets better anytime soon. It's crazy, Matt. Like, one missed layup and fans turned on him, and he's like, I don't want to play with you guys ever again. Like, that's what's so wild about this. It was just one layup. Like, honestly, it was one layup, and Philly lost it, and understandably so, because I get that. But, I mean, they just lost it after that, man. But I have friends who are, Philly fans. They have not, he is not like Ben Simmons from the beginning, from the onset of Ben Simmons, and have been trying to get Zach LaVine from me for I don't know how long, for Ben Simmons for I don't know how long, to which I vehemently always replied, no. 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 Okay, not going to happen. Not going to go down that way. But it's wild, Matt, and it's different for me from Harden. because Harden didn't say I'm not putting on your jersey ever again. He just said I'm gonna eat a bunch of ring dings and not work out.
Said, I'm gonna make that jersey look a lot tighter.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna go out there. I'll play. I'll show up. I'll do that. I'll get that money. This is different. This is like, I'm not playing for nothing. I don't want to come near you. I don't want to see anything around you or nothing. I don't care what you find me and all that. Now, will things change once he starts seeing the money he's losing? Because NBA players and athletes, they want their money, as all of us do. You want your money. So to see that significant amount start coming out of your paycheck, knowing all you got to do is just kind of show up, and then you can keep that money. Will that change him? I don't know, but he seems like he's dug his feet in, man, and he wants to go through with this. That's crazy.
So, well, first off, let's just make a quick correction. It wasn't just the one missed opportunity on what it should have been a dunk late in a close game that in a playoff series they end up losing. Look at Ben Simmons' fourth quarter shots in that series against Atlanta. That's the story. It's not just, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
No, that was the straw for sure.
Right.
That was it.
But it was the latest example of Ben Simmons doesn't show up in the playoffs. And there are countless examples of that through the first half of his NBA career.
Completely fair.
So I get why Philly's frustrated. And I also get why Philly's frustrated to say, well, damn, this dude's trade value now because of one play is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
And now he's holding out, and they've been shopping him. Since the season ended, they've been shopping him. Since before the season ended, they've been shopping him. And all of the offers that they've gotten, according to Daryl Morey, have been more or less dog shit compared to what they think he's worth, right?
Yeah.
They're like both parties, Ben Simmons and the Sixers, are in a rock and a hard place now. But what I think is fascinating here, and then this is what gets us to Zach LaVine in just a minute, is that Ben Simmons, most likely under the advice of Rich Paul and his group at Klutch Sports, has told Ben Simmons, we're gonna get you out, right? It's like that video of that guy yelling at the cat in that floral store or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna get you out of there. And Ben Simmons, so much so, is desperate to get out of this situation where he feels like the scapegoat and he needs a fresh start. Did you hear that number I said, Dave?
Basically, did you see me look over to nobody? Yes, I heard that number.
$250,000 a game if he sits out. To get that advice from your agent, don't play. We're going to force your way out. That is an extreme that not many NBA players have ever gone to, as far as I can recall.
Yeah, I'm showing up. I'll say like, bro, I'm showing up, okay? Training camp, okay, you want to sit that out? You can do all that. But the game, bro, like, I'm showing up to the game. Like, and I think was lost in all this, man, and you're right, all that value diminished. And that's why I keep harping on that layup and how because like you said, it was the straw for me. That's what that's kind of what I was harping on it so hard for. Because you're right, all that fourth quarter, he has many a record of him in the fourth quarter just not showing up and taking one shot, you know what I'm saying, and not doing anything. But it was that layup that really just kicked everything off for everybody. And I'm telling you, his value went down then, but it went extra down when you saw the reaction of Philly fans to it. When they told you, we don't want you here anymore either. So that let other teams know we don't have to pay you because we know y'all don't want him at all. So that drops your value also, okay? What's wild about this is Ben Simmons is like 17, 7, and 7. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ben Simmons can play. He is a good basketball player, Matt. Like, for real. He really, really is. This is an all-NBA dude. This is an all-star. This is an all-defense guy. He can play the game of basketball. But, man, dude, he can't shoot, and he don't want to shoot. And it seems like it's something going on here to where he doesn't want to get into that. It's so crazy. We touched on this. I just did a podcast with this man named Roger Gallo, who's who has a shot instruction thing called the Gallo Method, and we talked about that. We talked about Ben Simmons and his shot and why he doesn't have it and everything like that. And he was trying to tell us like a lot of that stuff is just straight up mental. It's not mechanics. It's not none of those things. It's a mental thing going on with Ben Simmons and why he's not shooting well and doing those things like that. All that said, 15, 7, and 7. You know what I'm saying, man? A really good point guard. He can play and lock down defender. Like all that stuff, all that has value. But the value is diminished because they know the team don't want you, you know, and that contract is super large. Like you said, 4 years left on it. And he's already said he doesn't want to play anymore. So you can lowball him right about now. You know what I'm saying?
It makes me think of the Jimmy Butler in Minnesota situation where, you know, the practice that blew up and went viral where he took the scrubs and said to, you know, Wolves, you know, coaching and management and ownership, like, you bleep and need me. I just beat, you know, Cat and Wiggins and all these, you know, all these young stars that you coddle with the scrubs, with the, you know, 12th and 13th guy on the roster. And, you know, by doing so, like, this is an untenable situation. Jimmy's forcing his way out. And then the return that Minnesota got for Jimmy was not great. Like, it was not worth the player that Jimmy Butler is. And that's the situation that Morey and the Sixers are facing right now for Simmons. They're probably not going to get a star on the same caliber of Ben Simmons in this trade. It's not going to be a star swap because, as you just said, everybody knows. Look, it's going to get to such an ugly point that they will have to start looking at the best of the low ball offers, which will mean picks, which will mean mediocre role player kind of guys, maybe a young player who needs a fresh start, but not star for star, you know, nowhere near equal return on investment with Simmons, which, you know, honestly, from a Bulls fan's perspective, that's great news. If the Sixers go from being a perennial, they're getting a top 3 seed kind of team in the East, while the Bulls are trying to make their way up to, but they got Embiid. They don't really have much else. Hey, good news for us.
It is. Great point.
Speaking of good news, if you are a gambling sports fan, as I can be from time to time, which, by the way, if you have to watch the Packers in prime time, put money on them to win. And then that way, if they do, hey, you made some money having to watch the Packers win. And if they don't and you don't win money, hey, you're happy the Packers lost. Paid off for me last night, Dave. It was great. But when it comes to the world of fantasy basketball, I want to tell you guys about the new Game Picks feature from the Sleeper app. In 2018, the fantasy sports experts at Sleeper realized that fantasy basketball was broken. Games were being won and lost based on whose players had more scheduled games that week. That doesn't make any sense. And it required very little strategy. So in 2020, Sleeper released a brand new way of playing fantasy basketball. It's called Game Pick, and it's only available on the Sleeper app. In Game Pick, owners pick a single game per week for each starter on their roster to count towards their team's total score, ensuring an even number of games played between opponents. The days of losing because your opponent's players simply had more games that week than you are over. The days of mindless daily busy work are over. The days of giving up halfway through the season because of that busy work, also over. It all adds up to more strategy and less busy work with Game Pick features like picking your lineup on player matchups, home versus away, opponents' defensive rankings, pace of play, and more. Sleeper cracked the fantasy basketball code. If you play fantasy football, if you prefer building out a weekly strategy versus daily busy work, you're going to love Game Picks from the Sleeper app. So download the Sleeper app and start a league with your friends today. You won't be disappointed.
Let me talk to y'all for a second. Listen, between us, it hurt, doesn't it? I know it hurts. Your hip ain't supposed to sound like that. You need some relief. You need some pleasure. You need something to help you out. I got something for you, man. It's called Theragun, y'all. Y'all got to get it. Now, I was watching the game the other day, and I looked on the bench, and they showed the camera, and they showed the picture. What was sitting on that bench? A Theragun sitting right there, because it is used by athletes. So if it's good enough for them, and you know that they use their bodies hard, I know you use your body hard too, from your everyday, from your 9 to 5, from your kids and all that stuff. That means it is good for you. The Gen 4 Theragun. It doesn't just feel good. It gets to the source of the pain by releasing tension using Theragun's signature percussive therapy, which goes 60%. Did you hear what I said? 60% deeper than the vibration alone. Now, whether you want to treat the muscle tension from working out, or got an injury, or just them stresses of everyday life, I'm telling you, there's no substitute for the Theragun Gen 4. Now, this is what you do, man. Try Theragun for 30 days, all right? and you can get it. Let's say you think you would pay like what, $300-$400 or something like that. Nope. 30 days, $199. 30 days. Try it like that. You go to therabody.com/locked-on right now and get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That is therabody.com/locked-on. Go there right now, get that, and start feeling better, because you deserve to feel that way. Not just on the weekends, but every day. Theragun, get you one.
With that, let's move to the last part of this Simmons conversation, which is bringing it back to the Bulls star Zach LaVine, who recently joined Klutch Sports this summer, now a Rich Paul client like Ben Simmons. And we were just remarking, Dave, how bold of a strategy this is from Ben Simmons management to say, hey, man, sit out. We're going to get you out of Philly. And if we have to have you no show to training camp, fine. If they actually start fining you for not showing up because you're essentially breach of contract, based on the CBA, fine. You're due $147 million more dollars, $250,000 here or there, while we wait out Philly sweating to find a trade for you. We can get you that money back in a commercial in a day, right? Like, especially if you are a star of Simmons caliber.
Yeah.
And so now Zach is reaching that level of stardom. We're hearing about endorsement deals this summer. He's got a gold medal with Team USA. And now he has joined the Death Star of sports talent agency. So I think I could understand that some Bulls fans might be looking at this Simmons situation and worrying about the tie to Klutch Sports now. I am not, and here's why. I was listening to the most recent Low Post podcast with Zach Lowe. He had Bobby Marks on, the ESPN's NBA like capologist and management reporter. And they were talking about, and I think Marks is going to write a column about this later this week, the essential end of NBA free agency as we once knew it, because all of the star players in the NBA now, the ones who are worthy and getting max contracts, are getting the advice from their management to say, listen, whichever contract is offering you the most money, unless it is a very specific, like, you love this team, you just want to chip with this team and you're willing to take a discount to stay here kind of situation. No, if you want to play the market and get your big prime of my career contract, take the biggest offer. And if that biggest offer is the place where you are now and you don't love where you are now, don't worry about it. Because in a year or in 2 years, after you sign this contract that is guaranteed to pay out, we can force your way out. And, God forbid if that situation happens, it makes me more confident right now, today, that Zach LaVine is signing a contract with the Bulls next summer. He's not going anywhere because he's probably going to get that advice from Klutch Sports. Take the biggest contract. If you want out of Chicago 2 years from now, we'll get you out, because that's just a thing we do now. Yeah.
And I don't fault Klutch for this, honestly. If they're playing the game as it's been laid out to them. The NBA has said it, so they got tired of players, getting up and going to other teams trying to form super teams and things like that. So now they've made it a way for you to stay in your team that you came up with, make more money with that team than you could with another team, when your free agency is up and available. Giannis is a great example of that. But Giannis said, I'm staying home. I'm going to be in Milwaukee. He's that kind of guy. I'm not worried about Zach LaVine. I've never been worried about Zach LaVine leaving or going anywhere else, or just being with the Chicago Bulls for years. Like, I'm not concerned about it. I know he wants to be here. He's shown you he wants to be
about
here.
it a little under 2 years ago. I mean, I was concerned about it when certain people were still around and certain people hadn't arrived yet.
Fair. That is fair. What he's saying is fair, and it's fair to be concerned in that instance. Again, that cloud that used to hang over us, but now it is gone. So you get Sunshine Peck over there. You get that in the way, and it feels good. But I'll say it like this then, Matt. I haven't been concerned about it since AK and Eversley got here. I'll say it like that. Since they got here, it hasn't crossed my mind that Zach wouldn't sign that contract to stay with the Chicago Bulls. When he signed that contract, it felt like he wanted to sign it to prove something. He felt like he was worth more than that then, but he had to prove it. And it seemed like he had no issue going out trying to prove it. And he understood I had the injury to my knee and all the other stuff. So I had to go out here, and show what I did. But now he's gone out and he's proven it. And now we set up a team around him. And now he's gotten a say-so in how the team is run and how it's set up and things like that. He's not leaving that. Let me just say that, guys. He's not leaving that. That's a great situation to be in a major market city like Chicago. Sorry, John Sabine, but it's a major market city like Chicago, okay? I don't think he's leaving. But you do bring up a good point. Let's say, he doesn't like it in the next couple years. And we start seeing stuff like this. He wants to be a guy that says, you know what? I don't think guys listening to me. I don't like how this is going. I don't want to be here anymore. Let me force my way out. The reason that doesn't concern me is because if that's the player that he is, he would have shown you that by now. Ben Simmons showed you that now when he came into the league. I knew it when he had a documentary before he even had 2 years in the league. I knew it then. I was like, why does this dude have a documentary? It made no sense to me. Okay, he's showing you then. James Harden has shown you who he is also over the years. He's shown you who he is and why this isn't shocking that James Harden would say, I don't want to be with this team anymore. I'm tired of this and that riffraff like that. He has not once shown, Zach LaVine has not once shown you he is that kind of person that would do something like that. That he would, just throw that temper tantrum, not show up to camp, not do all those things. No, this dude's in the gym every day. He loves being in the gym. I guarantee you he was in the gym today. He's what he does, man. He likes to play basketball, and he wants to play for the Chicago Bulls because they have set it up so nice around him and a team that he has never seen before. And that's a winning basketball team because he's never been on one. So I don't think he's going to be too ready to leave that even within a couple years to try to force that out with Klutch Sports and things like that. Right. So I think I'm sorry. Well, I'm going to let you get to this point, Matt, but I think if you want to go there, even though I'm not worried about this either, but if you want to go there and say a guy you might want to worry about that stuff, it's Lonzo. That's the guy that I would say, okay, if you want to worry about it, it's him. But I'm not personally. I think Lonzo ain't worried about none of that. I think he can stay here, but you can make that argument. That's all I'm saying. You can make an argument for it, but
yeah, I guess, maybe as somebody who had so much attention as a high school basketball player,
sure.
Former number 2 pick in the NBA draft, with all of the big baller brandness around him, might be more inclined to do the Harden, to do the Simmons, to do the, well, I'm not happy, so I'm not showing up, or I'm going to force my way out kind of thing. Yeah. That is no concern of mine now because as far as we understand it, he is happy with the contract that Bulls gave him, which I think we all agreed. I didn't want to pay over Lonzo. You didn't want to overpay Lonzo. I think we are in agreement that they didn't overpay Lonzo.
They didn't.
They came in on the underside of what I was like, I don't want to go much higher than this, 20 mil kind of, and they didn't. Great. They didn't. If he's happy with that contract and a chance for a fresh start in a big market to prove he can be a winner, then we don't need to worry about Lonzo's content for now. And when it comes to Zach, again, I'm not worried about the what if 2 years from now and, the advice of Klutch to say, take the biggest contract because we can force your way out in a couple of years if you don't like it. Yeah. I am more focused on the good news that means if that is the advice he's getting from Klutch, he's signing. And then the giant what if that Bulls fans would maybe concern themselves with is that, and I think we talked about this not that long ago, earlier this summer, Big Dave, the biggest domino to fall of the Reinsdorfs proving finally that they're going to put their money where their mouths are when it comes to building a winning basketball organization again.
Tanaka.
Because Tanaka! They've paid everybody in this overhaul. Front office, coaching staff, players, they've paid everybody. It's going to be Zach's turn next. Yeah. And he earns that money. He deserves that money. Yes, and if Jerry and Michael actually care about winning, guess what? You pay Zach and you deal with the luxury tax. You just do.
You just do. And again, I want to reiterate, I don't think that Lonzo is going to do this. All right. I don't want people to say, oh, you're saying Lonzo is going to have. Not what I'm saying, guys. I don't want y'all to misconstrue that. He's not going to do this. He is not. He's a very low key, chill kind of person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how he has been. I'm saying if you want to make an argument for it, because like Matt said, all that big baller brand stuff, you know, all the cameras that are around him and social media, you know, and blah blah and all that, you can use that stuff to make that argument, but your argument would be flimsy because I don't believe it at all because he hasn't shown it and I haven't seen it at all. But man, dude, and also, man, I'm honestly shout out to Klutch Sports because man, dude, they are becoming that team that everybody wants to join, that is getting guys paid and getting them and putting them in a position where they kind of want to be. Like guys throwing those tantrums, they're like, all right, don't worry, like you said, don't worry about it. Get that money, we'll get you up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And if worse come to worse, we'll send you to LA. You know, if worse come to worse, we got home base over in LA just chilling. All right. So shout out to them, man, for doing it like this, honestly, because they're really getting guys paid. They're really getting guys some money for real.
Worst come to worst, we'll have you drop a single with my new girlfriend Adele.
Right? Yo, son, damn, I love how you in my brain. I love how you in my brain. That was about to be the next thing out my mouth was to say something about that. I was so happy for him. Happy for him.
I've never been the whole like tabloids, you know, People Magazine, Us Weekly, you know, ingesting the celebrity gossip kind of person. I could care less. But I saw that on my Twitter feed this morning and I was like, wait, like Adele the singer, Adele, and Rich Paul, like the, you know, sports agent, like mega what?
That's right.
How?
You saw it. Like you saw it, Matt, when I can't remember what game they were at, but they were at a game together during the season, like sitting together. And that's when you first saw it. Like I was like, oh snap, Rich Paul dating Adele? Yo, that's crazy. That's awesome. And it's not even the superstar mega stuff. It's the fact she don't live here. Like you know what I mean? It's just like overseas in London. Like you're like, you ain't even around here. But I guess when you're Adele, you live everywhere because of that check. You got a plane that says I live everywhere. Okay, like everywhere I want to live, I can live there. So, but hey, more power to them, man. Much love to Rich Paul and Adele for real, man. That's a power couple, my friend.
And you know what? Now that Rich Paul has two clients on the Bulls, two pretty big name clients on the Bulls, I think he needs to convince Adele to do a cover of Only the Bulls because I think we need that. I think we need that. Just like the beautiful, like tear ducts automatically turned on voice of Adele, but just singing Only the Bulls.
Only the Bulls. Like she would kill that. Yo, she might show up to a Bulls game. Ain't that wild? Like Adele might actually come to a Bulls game, dude. You know how bad I want a celebrity to be over here for the Chicago Bulls, man. Because ever since Gene Siskel left, rest in peace to him. Ever since he left, we haven't had one. We haven't had that one who's always at the game, man. So, man, that would be cool. Honestly, that would be cool.
You used to even occasionally get, you know, Scotty and Horace like sitting courtside, like, hey, here we are. You know,
but they played ambassadors,
here, give a wave, and last couple of years, Scotty and Horace were both like, man, I'm done with this shit.
You want me to go to what game? Wait, when they play Charlotte, is Mike coming? We'll show up to that one, maybe. You know, Joakim is there. Oh, okay, all right. Derrick Rose, all right, yeah, we'll show up for that. But yeah, man, we need one. We need a celebrity.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's call Adele. Do we have Adele's number? We'll give Adele a call. We'll talk to her people. That's gonna do it for today's Locked On Bulls. If you want to be a part of the conversation here on the Locked On Bulls podcast, hit us up. 331-979-1369 is our text and voicemail hotline. Hit us up there. Shoot us an email, lockedonbulls@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter. I am at Bulls_Peck. Dave is at BAL Sports. We are at Locked On Bulls. Maybe we'll dive into some mailbag content tomorrow. Wouldn't that be fun? So hit us up there. Thanks to today's sponsors. Thanks to y'all for listening. Big Dave, have a great day, buddy.
You too, my friend.
We'll talk to y'all soon. See Red, be good. Peace out.